Hello, is there anyone there? Can anyone hear me? Please give me a audio check quickly before I think he's coming out to get his doom shortly. Hello, hello, anyone here? Anyone interested in this? Anne. Gracious Anne. Okay, good. So something is fucking working at the very least. Yeah, sorry, the Telegram is actually a bit poop to stream on, so to get the audio and everything set up, it was just better to come to YouTube. What's been happening, I haven't really been following who's winning now. I'm going to be doing a proper bigger stream later on tonight. This is an impromptu stream because Eastern European poor man...
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, can you please welcome the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky.
So there you go, that kind of, I hope, outlines what's going on. Yeah, his coronation, yeah, he's going to be crowned king of fucking financial Britain. And I'm here to get angry at it. So here he is, look. I mean, I'm not going to make the obvious joke here, but he's dressed in ceremonial garb, and he's just still dressed like a fucking tramp. He's coming to address the world's oldest parliament in the oldest section of parliament, and what have we got? Is he's dressed like he's just come out of a fucking virgin gym as he comes to ask us to prop up his war and for us to invite confrontation with Russia. So we're going to watch this, and you'll probably hear me just progressively get more spurgy in the background as God knows what cringe these fucking idiots are going to come out with.
Thank you, people of Britain. Give me more money to fight for homosexual rights in Ukraine.
See these chairs? I've seen these chairs. I've been in Parliament a number of times. These are special chairs that are reserved for prestigious guests. Like, I'm not too sure which one because they're not really differentiate. Who cares what Lindsay Hoyle says? They're not really differentiable whenever you see them. But like, these chairs have been there for decades. Like Ronald Reagan, like American presidents, monarchs of foreign countries, dignitaries have sat in these chairs, and this fucking idiot's dressed like a tramp.
When you're the first ever head of state,
let me know if the audio from the back is good enough.
With much laughter over an English afternoon tea.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh, Vladimir, just like he down the pub in Lancashire.
We forged an instant bond, despite wearing masks and being socially distanced at the opposite ends of a large table. Because like the rest of Europe, we're working out how to deal with COVID.
And yeah, I am drinking a beer, because I'm going to need it to get through this.
On the 24th of February, 2022, the second invasion of Ukraine.
Oh, second bloody invasion. What bloody jokes.
There was another first for us both. I suspended the House of Commons so that you could address in Ukrainian through the screens in our chamber, which we still refer to them as Zelensky screens.
Oh, God.
The atmosphere was electrifying. You could hear a pin drop before you came online. A very, very rare thing in the House of Commons. You spelled out the horrors of the first 13 days of war. Your speech was devastating and powerful. Today, on the 8th of February, 2023, now deep into the war, we are all that you put yourself at risk to address and again shine a light on the fact your country is still fighting for its survival. This hall has been the place of many great historical events. Your presence here today adds another to them. The war, as you know better than any of us, has lasted for nearly a year. As you told us last year, this is a war Ukraine did not start and did not want. But it is a war you've had to fight, and our commitment to support you and your people has not wavered. I was considering what could be said at this important occasion. I thought back to the 1990s. Then we hoped that all countries that emerged from the former Soviet Union could secure freedom and prosperity. There was a moment of hope over that time, and we knew it would be a long time that each country could choose its own destiny. It is a tragedy that Ukraine's efforts to bring freedom, prosperity to its people has been met with war and death.
Fucking give me a break.
Last year, building on our friendship, I welcome your wife, Madame Zelenska, to Parliament to open deliberately a provocative exhibition. I wanted to ensure the experience of your people is kept at the forefront of our minds. I do not believe any of us in this room were complacent about the reality of conflict, but those displays shocked us. The images stayed with us. They brought home the horrors of war.
I quite like how his northern Lancashire accent is coming up with some really fucking weird captions.
I applaud Ukraine's refusal to forget what is you and your people are fighting for. In the words of the Ukrainian Eurovision winners, Spergout Orchestra, they said, "I always find my way home, even if all roads are destroyed." Fighting for a country is not simply fighting for territory. It is a fight for home and for an idea. The endurance of the people of Ukraine, honours those ideals. Their refusal to allow war to destroy their humanity honours their ideals. Quite rightly, last year you said, Ukrainians have become big over the 13 days of this war. You have become even bigger in your determination, not just to fight for your country, but to stand by the ideals you are fighting for. We will not give up on those ideals. We'll continue to support you against that Russian.
That's it. Come on down, Chuck.
And I pledge here today, in front of all of you, to do all I can to keep the plight of Ukraine in the spotlight. Later this year, the UK and Ukraine will be united in music, but we will always be united in our unwavering belief.
Oh god, that's right. Fucking Eurovision's coming. Oh.
Slava Ukraina. Mr. President,
Oh no. I'm gonna punch a wall.
Hello, people of Britain. Here is a bill for what I need.
Thank you so much.
Oh wow, he's actually gonna speak English for us, chat.
The people of the United Kingdom and their honorable representatives, all the people of England and Scotland, of Wales,
It's Lindsay Hoyle,
Northern
he's from
Ireland,
Lancashire.
of all the lands which have been home to brave souls since Europe came into existence. I have come here and stand before you on behalf of the brave, on behalf of our warriors who are now in the trenches under enemy artillery fire, on behalf of our air gunners and every defender of the sky who protects Ukraine against enemy aircrafts and missiles, on behalf of our tank men who fight to restore our Ukrainian borders, on behalf of our conscripts who are being trained now, including here in Britain. Thank you, Britain.
I like how the captions for Zelensky are more accurate than the captions for Lindsay Hoyle.
And who will be then deployed to the front line front line, skilled, equipped, and eager to win. On behalf of every father and every mother who are waiting for their brave sons and brave daughters back home from the war.
Brave daughters.
Mr. Speaker, you may, I think, well remember as roughly more than 2 years ago, we met with you here in Parliament. Great honor was for me. And I remember we enjoyed tea. We talked, of course, talked a lot about our people and about our countries, about the British and Ukrainian political traditions. Mr. Prime Minister Rishi, when we had our meeting earlier today, and I said to you that I would tell you...
Where's Boris? Where's Boris, chat?
A story in my address to the Parliament, and a story about my feelings on my first visit to London as President in autumn 2020. The program was packed. Royal Highnesses William and Catherine and Buckingham Palace and aircraft carrier of the Royal Navy, the Westminster, of course, Downing Street, and of course, the war rooms. And there is an armchair in the war room.
Why is
Churchill's.
everything coming free for you, chat? It's showing up for me like there's a...
And the guide smiled and offered me to sit down.
Have I just been yeeted?
From which war orders
Oh no, never mind.
had been given. And he asked me, how did I feel? And I said that I certainly felt something. But it is only now that I know what the feeling was. And all Ukrainians know it perfectly well too. It is the feeling of how bravery takes you through the most unimaginable hardships to finally reward you with victory. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your bravery. Thank you very much from all of us. Yes, please. That is for you. All applause for you.
There he is, there's Bojo, look at him, the next Churchill!
London has stood with Kiev since day one. From the first seconds and minutes of the full-scale war, Great Britain, you extended your helping hand when the world had not yet come to understand how to react. Boris, you got others united when it seemed absolutely impossible. Thank you. You, all of you, you all showed your grit and character back then. Strong British character. You didn't compromise Ukraine. And hence, you didn't compromise your ideals. And thus, you didn't compromise the spirit of these great islands. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's just a shame that these fucking idiots care more about your country than they do defending our own.
Of course, everybody understands that our countries knew absolutely different times. Our nations defended freedom in the Second World War. The Iron Curtain divided us. Our people went through crisis and growth, through inflation, and periods of social losses and social gains. It was tough, but we always found strength and stamina to move ahead and achieve results. This is the bedrock of our land and your traditions. Ukrainians and Brits defeated the fear of war and had the time to enjoy peace. No matter what we encountered on different stages of our and your formidable history, and you and us and the whole mankind achieved similar result. Evil lost. Evil lost. We will always come out on top of evil. This lies at the core of our, but also your traditions. However, the horizon never stays clear for a while. Once the old evil is defeated, the new one is attempting to rise its head. Do you have a feeling that the evil will crumble once again? I can see in your eyes now we think the same way as you do. We know freedom will win.
Freedom to turn your kids into eunuchs. Freedom for Africans to move to Ukraine in massive numbers.
We know
freedom
Russia
for American
will lose.
corporations to dominate your economy.
And we really know the victory will change the world. And this will be a change that the world has long needed. The United Kingdom is marching with us towards the most important victory of our lifetime. It will be a victory over the very idea of the war. After we win together, any aggressor, it doesn't matter, big or small, will know what awaits him if he attacks international order. Any aggressor,
And that's their
any
American.
aggressor who will try to push the boundaries by force, who will inflict destruction and death on other peoples, who will try to endure his dictatorship at the expense of other people's blood in criminal and unprovoked wars, as the Kremlin does. Any aggressor is going to lose. Ladies and gentlemen, we have already achieved remarkable results, and we must make every effort to turn our achievements into the foundations of the future global security architecture. The world needs your leadership, Britain, just as it needs Ukrainian bravery. When the full-scale invasion began, we, together with you, Britain, and United States and other allies, formed a true coalition of friends. That is very important. You were among those very few who had helped before the large-scale invasion began, exactly as it will be necessary every time in the future to prevent aggression from happening. Your help was preventive. We must
Just so you know, this is leader of
these
opposition. He tried to defend pedophiles in his legal career.
preventive aid to those who are threatened with aggression, and preventive sanctions against those who threaten aggression as basic principles of the world anti-war policy. We created a coalition of NLAW. Thank you. Of NLAW and Javelin that stopped the advance of the Russian army from the first day of the invasion. We built the coalition of artillery rounds and a coalition of air defense, which allow us to save the lives of our children, of our people, of our civilians, our women, our elderly, and our cities from Russian atrocious occupation and missile terror. We put together a powerful sanction coalition, and your leadership is protecting international legal order through sanctions against a terrorist state cannot be questioned.
Jesus
And we have
Christ.
to steadily continue along this way until Russia is deprived of any possibility to finance the war. Most importantly, together with the G7, we brought about a coalition of values. A coalition that
Hear that,
protects
chat?
the
Values,
rule-based
coalition of values.
world
What
order
values
and human
is this
rights.
coalition promoting?
A coalition that will work in such a way that over time there will simply be no gray areas in the world in which human life doesn't matter. In order for it to be so, there must be justice. Anyone who invests in terror must be held accountable. Anyone who invests in violence must compensate those who have suffered from terror. Terror, aggression, or other forms of state violence. Our proposals for the creation of a special tribunal for the crime of Russian aggression against Ukraine and special compensation mechanism which will compensate war losses at the expense of Russian assets are based on such principles. Justice is one of 10 elements of the peace formula proposed by Ukraine and supported by Britain. I thank you for your readiness to invoke the formula. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you very much.
So there you go. They want to impose a form of Versailles Treaty on the Russians to make the Russians forever economically dependent on Ukraine now.
Ukrainian soldiers are being trained in Britain, in particular to operate Challengers, your main battle tanks. And it's a tank coalition in action. And I thank you. Thank you, Rishi. Thank you very much for this powerful defensive step for tank assistance. Thank you. The coalition of long-range missiles is the latest of all. It will allow us to make the evil completely retreat from our country by destroying its headways deep in the occupied territories. And it's not just, I'm not speaking just about weapons. We proved together that the world truly helps those who are brave in defending freedom and thus paves the way for a new history. A history of the world that knows how to be quick in help, who knows how to be effective in defense, who knows how to remain principled in dark hours, who implements its treaties and arrangements in good faith, who does not allow perpetrators to enjoy immunity.
How could literally everything he said here not be thrown back at the Americans for Iraq? I hate to do the whataboutism, but like, this entire world order he's trying to propose here, the Americans fall completely outside of, but then again, it is the American world order that he's propping up here.
However, evil is still is still around today, and the battle continues. Yes, we know how it's going to end and how we are going to feel on the day victory comes. Every day we continue to pay with lives, pain and tears for bringing victory closer, with the lives of our people, our heroes, whom we lose in battles, with the lives of our heroes who take life and death risks every day to save as many of our soldiers and civilians as possible. And today, I will have the honor to be received by His Majesty the King.
Oh, so they actually is meeting the king.
A truly special moment for me, for our country. And in particular, because I will convey to him from all the Ukrainians the words of gratitude for the support His Majesty showed to them when he was still the Prince of Wales. And I also intend to tell him something that is, I think that is very, very, very important, not only for the future of Ukraine, but also for the future of Europe. In Britain, the king is an Air Force pilot. And in Ukraine,
Here you go.
today, every Air Force pilot is a king.
So these are Ukrainian soldiers as well. Why is his entire staff like dressed like they're out of the gym?
For us, just for us, for our families. Because they are so few, they are so precious that we, the servants of our kings, do everything possible and impossible to make the world provide us with modern planes to empower and protect pilots who will be protecting us. And I'm proud of our Air Force. And I brought a present from them to you, Great Britain. Yes, please, open, please.
That's a good point. Please, God, tell me he's not going to meet the king dressed like that.
Yes, to the speaker. Yes, speaker. I will. And I will explain. It's the helmet of a real Ukrainian pilot. He is one of our most successful aces.
The Ghost of Kiev.
Our kings.
They're giving us the helmet of the Ghost of
The
Kiev,
writing
chat.
on the helmet reads, "We have freedom. Give us wings to protect it." I trust this symbol will help us for our next coalition of the planes, and I appeal to you and the world with simple and yet most important words: combat aircrafts for Ukraine, wings for freedom. Great Britain, you and us both struggle for peace, but instead of we are forced to face the range that seeks to deprive us of peace and everything else that is valuable in life.
Like, seriously, I don't think the Russians should have invaded. Like, I'm not pro-invasion before people get that idea in my head, but, like, the entire speech is just, like, how did the invasion come about? Like, you weren't
it then
an innocent
destroys
bystander to this. There's been a process that led to what has happened, and I think the Russians are a bit shitty in what they've done. But I mean, like, the idea that NATO, the West,
such evil.
is only ever been out for peace. It's like, no, guys, we were intentionally antagonizing the Russians.
Of defeating the evil that is generated by human nature. I'm not saying there will be no more wars after the war ends. No, it is impossible to completely
The war to
erase
end all
evil from
wars,
human
guys.
nature. Yet it is in our power to guarantee with words and deeds that the light side of human nature will prevail. The side you and us share, and this stands above anything else. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your support. And leaving a British Parliament 2 years ago, I thanked you for delicious English tea. And I will be leaving the Parliament today, thanking all of you in advance for powerful English planes.
British. And what planes are we going to give them? We have no planes. Are we going to give them Eurofighters? Are we seriously going to give the Ukrainians Eurofighters? Because I don't think the Germans are going to like that. And we all know that the Germans cuck in the end, but I don't think the French are going to like that as well. We don't have Tornadoes, we don't have Harriers. What planes are we going to give them?
Great Britain, and long live the King.
Okay, I can agree with that. Long live the King. Right, seriously, I hope he dresses better. If he's going to meet the King like that, like, I know I'm just nitpicking because I don't like him, but please tell me he is not going to meet the King dressed in this, whatever this is. The idea that he's addressing Parliament, both houses of Parliament in the Great Hall, like he's just straight from a fucking gym session, like, come on. And what are we going to... What planes? We have no planes. We've only got the Hawks, which are training aircraft, and the Eurofighters, and the F-35s. And I don't think the Americans are going to allow us to give F-35s away. And the Germans and the French and the Italians are probably going to be a bit pissed off if we decide to give away their proprietary technology in the Eurofighters to the Ukrainians. And if those get shot down and the Russians get the wreckage, like...
to all. Mr. President, this great hall in which we stand, with its walls first built more than 900 years ago, has seen many speeches from great and iconic leaders. Today's event will weave a new panel in that rich tapestry of history. Thank you.
I think he could have dressed for the occasion. Like, that is the Great Hall. Like, that's where the Queen laid in state. It's where Churchill laid in state. It's like...
the core of the national life of our country and has played a prominent role in the development of our judicial system and our parliamentary democracy. But the story of this hall is also a tale of resilience and of remaining steadfast in the face of disaster. While fire raged around this site in 1834, destroying our old Parliament, Westminster Hall stood proud. When during the Second World War, bombs rained on London, Westminster Hall remained largely undamaged.
It is a very beautiful hall. If you ever are in London, I highly recommend you try and get in to see the hall. It is quite powerful feeling being in the hall itself.
Powerful and visible hope to our peoples during times of tribulation. In the same way, the endurance of your government and its institutions in the midst of a colossal threat to Ukraine continues to inspire your population and millions more beyond.
Sansim, I'm never buying Windows. This will
This
always be
endurance
here.
and
I am
inspiration
never buying Windows.
rests in large part upon the leadership that you have demonstrated since your country was forced into this terrible conflict. Mr. President, a conflict which you did not choose. Effective leadership demands the ability to respond to unpredictable challenges. Mr. President, in the extraordinary situation in which you were placed, visibility was essential. In testing times, leaders must be visible to their people. And from the outset last February, when bombs were falling on Kyiv, you were visible.
I love the way the YouTube auto caption is spelling out the Scottish guy's words. Keith.
Broadcasting from the streets of your capital, you reassured Ukrainians and indeed the world of the determination of your government in the face of violent aggression. Your leadership has been steadfast. In the early days of this conflict, some suggested that the Ukrainian state could not withstand the Russian threat and that the war would quickly end. In one of your broadcasts during the early bombardment, you famously said, "We are all here." You did not leave. You showed the world that your government was still at work in Kyiv and was fully committed to the defense of Ukraine. Your people have followed this example with an inspirational display of bravery. Vision has also characterized your leadership. You have not only expressed your belief in the continuing ability of Ukrainians to withstand aggression, but have embodied that belief, offering hope of a reconstructed Ukraine playing its full part in the future of Europe. That vision will continue to sustain you and your people in the difficult times ahead. Finally, a great leader never gives up. Selflessness and bringing people together are the essence of leadership. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, you exemplify these qualities in abundance. We salute your determination, your resilience.
No, he's a member of the parliamentary staff. He's wearing ceremonial garb, so he's not an MP, so he's not doesn't have a party political affiliation.
We wish you and the Ukrainian people success, strength.
I think it actually might be the
and
Speaker of the House of Lords.
You are not alone in this struggle. This Parliament, and indeed the country, stands with you in solidarity as you continue this noble fight.
Yeah, it's Lord McFall. He's the Speaker of the House of Lords. Okay. This guy defended pedophiles during his legal career. And he's probably going to be our next Prime Minister. He's a twat. He's a twat. That's the Chancellor. I actually quite like him. I think that's the Scottish guy. That's the SNP leader in the House of Commons. He's probably a pedophile. There's Jeffrey Donaldson, Northern Irish political leader. Don't know who this guy is. Looks like a Tory. Well, there's the slag. There's the Northern slag. There's Black Bob. Shadow Foreign Secretary. Probably going to be the future Foreign Secretary because this country's shit. Yvette Cooper. Fucking shrew. I hate these people so much. I really do. I forget her name. She's some Labour bint. She's white, but she's wearing a sari for some reason. Just, yeah. I hate these people so much. Oh, there's Theresa May. You don't see much of her anymore. Oh, there's Liz Truss. The SDLP leader, he's a fucking twat. So why is Boris not in the front beside all the other former prime ministers? That's... oh no, there he is there. There he is, chat. There's Boris. There's Winston. There's the modern day Winston Churchill.
Yes, of course, Vladimir. You can come fuck my wife, and anything we can give to you, Vladimir.
So, like, look at his staff. Like, I'm assuming these guys are, like, his personal security protection detail, but... I mean, guys... he looks like he's a child sex predator trying to keep it down low. I mean, why are they all dressed like they're just out in the gym? Come on. Right, I'm not too sure what's going to happen now. I'm assuming actually the king is, if I'm not mistaken, I did see that the king is visiting Brick Lane in London today, as of an hour ago. Okay, that's the stream over there. So, the king was, oh, hi Giza, you're in chat, you're recommended to me, so hello, how are you? The king, is, as of an hour ago, is doing a visit in Brick Lane, so I'm assuming it'd still be about an hour before he gets back, so I don't think Zelensky's going to go straight to see the king. He's probably going to go to Downing Street, and they'll probably hold a joint press conference at Downing Street, where we'll probably announce we're going to give Ukraine our nuclear arsenal, because of course we will. After that, what's the time now? What is the time now? Probably around 3 o'clock is when Zelensky will probably go and see the king. And then after that, I believe that Zelensky is then to go up to, not Katrick, Salisbury Plain to see the Ukrainian soldiers training on Challenger tanks up there. So I don't know what else there is streamable for the rest of the day. I am doing a stream later tonight, which will go into more the nitty-gritty of things that are happening in Ukraine, around Bakhmut specifically. some interesting developments, some factionalism in the Ukrainian government. And to tail it off, I'll try and make it a bit humorous, and we'll talk about the Chinese balloon, which I had endless amounts of fun over. So, I don't know, does anyone have any questions you want to quickly fire at me? This was just more of an impromptu stream, because I wanted to get angry. Oh God, I'm looking at his I don't know if you guys can see this, but his telegram's pretty nauseating at the moment.
The United Kingdom was one of the first to come to Ukraine's aid, and today I'm in London to personally thank the British people for their support and Prime Minister Rishi Sunak for his leadership. During a meeting with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, the key topic of conversation was defense cooperation. I informed the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom about the situation on the front line and the needs of the armed forces of Ukraine in terms of weapons and military equipment. It is important for Ukraine to receive necessary weapons from our allies to stop the Russian offensive and liberate all temporarily occupied Ukrainian territories. I am grateful to the British people and separately to Rishi Sunak for the efforts to strengthen Ukraine's defensive capabilities for humanitarian and financial assistance provided after the start of full-scale aggression and for supporting Ukrainians who were forced to flee their homes because of the Russian war.
Yeah. If you remember the Ukrainians who came over to the UK and found there were too many Muslims and went back. So that's what he's just said. Yeah. I'll share those into my channel with a vomit emoji. I'm not averse to helping the people of Ukraine. I think we should send humanitarian aid. I think Ukrainians actually are legitimate refugees. So all the quote-unquote refugees we don't currently have in the UK, I think they should be sent the fuck back wherever they came from. And that space should be there for Ukrainians. I'm not in favor of military aid. I don't believe that we should be antagonizing the Russians for a war that we helped effectively start by kowtowing to the Americans on this. So, you know, I believe in sending humanitarian aid, help Ukrainians injured and fleeing their homes, yes, completely, but, you know, I'm not in favor of us completely demilitarizing our own country, all for the benefit of Washington's geostrategy. No, I'm not in favor of that, but, strange feeling. I'm old. How are you? You're not old. I'm sure you're not old. I don't know how old you are, but, hi, Mutiny, how are you? I hope you haven't been. Can you click the first video with the Korean chick? What video? Oh. Now We Are Free by Gladi. I don't know if this will get me a copyright strike, but I'll play it in the background.
Want super fast broadband at a super price?
Oh. Right there, because you asked for this chat, I'll play this so you can be horny. Zelensky reminds me of Paddington Bear for some reason. Paddington Bear was cute. He was a bear from Peru, and he liked marmalade. How many levels in this war? Vikings versus Mongols? Don't know. Don't know what that comment means. Why do you think this event has been staged? It is a staged event. Addresses to Parliament usually are like that. I have a feeling I'm probably going to get copyright strike or whatever it is on YouTube for playing this in the background, but I'm not keeping this stream up. This is a Sperg stream. How much do you love the English government? There isn't an English government. There isn't even a British government. There's an international government in the UK. Polyester pink uniform for Troon rights. Yep, that's it. We go back. Will Russia issue a response to this event soon? No, not likely. what could they do and why would they? He's constantly doing this stuff. This is just his first physical speech in Britain, but he's constantly addressing this. Actually, that's a good idea. We'll see what the Russian embassy is saying, because it might be of... Let's have a look. The Russian embassy in Britain is usually quite good for spicy... So, no. Dejtujemy Vyacheslav Volodin, all policies. No, it looks like the Russian embassy in London isn't giving an immediate response. They probably will at some point tonight, but not straight away. So I wouldn't really expect there will be much of a Russian response. If anything, the Russian response is coming in around Bakhmut and has been for weeks. Oh, so how are you, Maureen? I hope you're keeping well. Zelensky dresses like a college kid coming back home on laundry day. I'm not dying for him. Can you click on the first... I did that. Okay, glad to hear mutiny, because your country is like constantly in the state of falling apart, so I'm glad to hear you're okay. His Long Live the King was a bit too weak for planes, maybe some balloons. Well, I like that bit. At least he said God save the king. The only thing I really like about this country anymore is the king and the monarchy. AI copyright strikes coming. Oh well, I'm not keeping the stream up anyway. Music too loud. When your brain is so dopamine, you need to get streamers to click on thumbnail. Yeah, basically. Elizabeth, yeah, okay. Does anyone have any other stuff they want to quickly fire at me before I go off and procrastinate and try and avoid doing the stream I'm planning to do tonight? Also, where is it? God, OBS is such a fucking... So, if you are here and you're not already, please go follow my Twitter, up my tweets. Look at my epic... Look at this. I don't know what Elon has done, but once he first came in, for the first 2 months, month and a half, like, Twitter was great. Like, I was getting lots of reactions and stuff, but I don't know what it is over the past month and a half, but my engagement has just completely dropped off. I don't know if there's still people in, like, stay behinds that are fucking with the system, but it's very annoying. But yeah, come follow my Twitter and look at my awesome Twitter feed if you're not already on it. So yeah, no one sent any super chats, did they? I don't want to, if someone's paid money, I don't want to miss it. No. Okay, right. Any last parting remarks, guys? Any last queries? I think there is like a couple of seconds delay, so I'll wait for that to catch up. If not, going once, going twice, going 3, 4, 5. Twitter feed is so broken. Yeah. Okay, with that, guys, I'm gonna close it off now. Like I say, I should be streaming in about 4 hours for a more comprehensive stream on things that have happened over since I last streamed. Say the gamer word. Probably not. I'm not that infamous, and no, I'm okay. Keep an eye out for that. I'll post it on my channels for those who really want to come and watch it, and I will see you then. Hope you all have a great evening, and yeah.
Slava Ukraini, give me money, please.
I sent you a coffee super chat. Coffee super? What's a coffee super chat? Forgive me, I'm not logging into my coffee and doing that all now. I'll try and make a note to read it out on the stream this evening. So thank you very much, though, for that. I'll go have a look at it whenever I got a bit of time. Again, thank you everyone for coming, and see you this evening if you're interested in that. See ya, bye-bye, or paka paka.